Happy Wednesday evening, everybody. Welcome to our Midweek connection. I'm honored to be coming to you once again from our backyard. You know, we're in transition right now at First Unity Spiritual Campus, and I still currently have my office at the campus, but I am really going ahead and deciding to settle in here for a little bit in my backyard space. To start coming to you from our home, what I consider to be kind of our resort. This is our place and our place of sanctuary, and we're grateful for it. And we get a chance to be here together and be a blessing to each other and share in the beauty of this nature around us. We're thankful and we're blessed. This evening, I wanted to share a few things with you that are really based in a lot of what our work is, honestly. I think our spiritual work in this life is not, it's not about satiating a divine being, hoping that God will love us. It's not at all about creating a religious experience. It's not at all about trying to become perfect, whatever that is. I believe our spiritual work in this life is honestly about waking up to who we truly are, to our true self. The observer, the witness, not the thing that is witnessed or the thing that's being experienced, but we are the one who is experiencing, if that makes any sense. So this is one of the reasons that great sages throughout time, including St. Paul, might I say, of the Christian Bible, spent a lot of their focus on the mind. Paul probably would have called it overcoming the mind. And I don't know if I would use that kind of a war or a battle type of terminology, overcoming or conquering the mind. But it is, I believe, about mind management. So maybe not overcoming or controlling or conquering the mind like you're on a conquest, but managing it, certainly. Learning how to use it instead of being used by it. That's one of the lines that I shared in one of the chapters that I've been writing, and I've been writing a lot lately. And one of them was, I'm trying to see where I find it. Don't serve the moment. Let the moment serve you. In other words, don't get the cart in front of the horse. Get the horse in front of the cart so that you're making progress. You're progressing in him, in her, in the essence that we are as human beings and as spiritual beings having human experience. We are moving, breathing, and having our being. We're making progress, and that's what it means to progress in this life. To be more at peace, to be settled, to be living in the stillness, to be living in the joy, to be living in the love that all of us are invited into. And these are the higher vibrations. So as I was thinking about that, because last week we, of course, looked at the different phases and faces of awakening, that you're more kind, you're more loving, you see the beauty that's all around you, you begin to expand internally, you start to live with a sense of wonder and awe instead of slammed shut by beliefs. And I wanted to explore what it might look like to take each moment that we experience and recognize that there are really three dimensions to an experience. There are three layers, if you will, three elements, three dimensions to every single experience. And the reason I like to explore these things and sort of break them down within my own self is because I can build a system that gives me immunity, causes me to be able to be impervious to the craziness of the world around me, so that I can live from that inner state of peace and inner state of stillness. And these are sort of systematic ways to approach each and every moment. So whatever moment that you experience, good, bad, or indifferent, essentially has these three major dimensions or layers to that moment. And I wanted to discuss them and discover them with you. So I wrote it this way. Every moment we experience is made up of three layers that shape our perception and understanding of the world around us. The first dimension, or the first layer, is our direct experience. In other words, in that moment, whatever I'm experiencing, the sights, the sounds, the sensations, whatever's being experienced by my body through the five senses in every given moment is the direct experience, the sensations of the encounter with that present moment. The second layer is our awareness of the experience, our ability to witness it, to observe it, and to reflect on what's happening within our inner and our outer self, recognizing that I'm both human and divine, that I'm in and I'm out, I'm up and I'm down, that this is a part of the ebb and the flow, or the divine dance of life, right? So I recognize that the first dimension or layer is my direct experience, what I compute with my senses. And remember, the senses are locking in this experience only within the framework of the sensations. And if you live your whole life in the sensual, you might never discover the spiritual. A lot of people think that this term sensual is basically a sexual term. It's not. It's what you're experiencing, or what is happening within the senses of the body. The body is the beautiful vehicle that we're operating and sort of living this life, where we are living this life in that body, the skin suit, as my friend Amy Crasas says, this skin suit. I like to call it my space suit as well. This bag of bones, this experiential vehicle that I'm using has that direct experience in the sensations, and so it's computed, it's recorded, and then it's dropped into the unconscious mind so that it can process all of that, really ultimately so that it can help me navigate through this life and still be alive. Then the next layer is that awareness of the experience. In other words, I think as we're growing spiritually, we actually become more aware of the awareness. Then we get to the place where we recognize, oh, no, I am the awareness. I'm not the situation or the experience that I'm aware of. I'm the awareness itself. I'm further back. I'm in a deeper layer or a deeper dimension to this life. So my experience, I'm aware of it. And this is the ability to observe it, to reflect on what has happened, but to reflect on it from the inner world and the outer world. Again, that I recognize my direct experiences in the senses, and then I have the awareness of the experience so that now I can sort of examine that experience both with the inner and the outer world. However, to me, this is the most important part of every experience. The third dimension or layer, to me, holds the most power over us throughout our life. And here it is. The third layer or dimension to an experience is the story I tell myself about the experience. And the story I tell others, but I can't tell others until I've told myself. In other words, I'm narrating the story. So my story about the experience, my story about the direct experience into my senses, my story about my awareness of the experience holds the most power over me. This is the narrative that I create in my mind. This is the narrative I create in my heart to make the experience. So this is the way I wrote it. This is the narrative we create in our minds to make sense of what is happening, to give meaning to the experience. My story is going to influence how I feel about what was felt. All right, so this can get too complex. I don't want it to get too complex. My direct experience, I touch something, I feel it. That's fine. I'm aware that I'm feeling it. That's all fine. That's still on those two-dimensional layers. But the third dimension is what I begin to tell myself about an experience. And here's the beauty of it. Once I recognize my power in a higher dimension than even the three layers, once I recognize my power as the observation, as the awareness itself, I can begin to change the story anytime I get ready. So our stories can influence how we feel, how we behave, and how we perceive the world around us. Literally, the way I tell the story and the story that I tell will determine how I start to perceive the world. This is why it's important to remember. We talked a few weeks back, and Pastor D.E. Paulk really inspired this in some of his writings within his book, Fully Awake. When he talked about there's manifestation, there's the mouth, there's the mind, but there's the matrix. So the manifestation is the result. If you carry it all the way back, it's the result of the starting point, which was in the matrix. The filters. The story that I'm telling about my experience will determine how I feel about it, will determine how I behave as the result of it, and it will determine how I perceive the world around me. This is where we start to deal with trauma. This is when we start to deal with the things that have happened to us. This is why we write songs like "What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger." Because we know that we are bigger than our experiences. We know that we are greater than what has come our way. We know that we're bigger than the abuse. We're bigger than the rejection. We're bigger than all of these experiences. We are able to take those experiences, put the water of the Word on it, and when I say the Word, I'm using the terminology logic, or the logic of God. We're able to put the water of the Word on it and begin to mold it like clay into what we want it to become. So what I would share with you as we begin to bring this really to a conclusion this evening, because there's no need to labor on this too long, it's pretty straightforward. The story that I'm telling about my experience has power to it. Do I want it to empower me or to disempower me? That is my choice. And so this is why I've said repeatedly over and over again, take back the pen and become the author of your own bestseller. Otherwise, it's going to be written by something or someone else, and you don't know what story you'll be dealing with. You'll be reading the story, seeing it as your story, and going, who wrote this? If you don't write it, then the rest of life will. So it is important for me to be mindful of the stories that I'm telling myself, because those stories will shape my reality in profound ways, in positive or negative ways, in empowering or disempowering ways, in wonder and awe, or stuck and spinning my wheels. By being aware of the stories and questioning their validity, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and the experience. Remember, you're not the experience. You are the knowing, not the situation or the circumstance that is known. You're the awareness. You're the witness. You're the observer. And let me say this, you're the narrator, the script writer, the director, and the producer of the film of your life. You can say cut and retake. See, any mistake is the opportunity for a retake. Any misstep is the opportunity to go back and do a do-over. This is what it means to repent, is to rethink. Or to think again. When you've thought once, to think again. You can repent and redo. It's always our choice. It's always our choice. Yes, I know some things have happened to you, you think, but I don't know if things happen to us as much as things happen, and I can decide whether it's going to be to me as a victim or for me as a victor. By being aware of the stories and questioning their validity, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and the experience. So the next time you find yourself caught up in a negative or limiting story, remember that you have the power to rewrite and create a new narrative that will serve you better. This is why it's important. One of the most important things we ever learn how to do is not get something as much as let go of some things. Our life of unfolding, our spiritual unfolding, is not really as much about getting something as it is unwrapping the something that we already are. You are a gift, a magnificent gift. Unwrap it so that you can make use of it. Take off the layers that have been put on you. Remove the varnish that has been layered over top of the wonderful wood grain of your life. It's about reduction more than it is production. It's not about becoming somebody. It's about the unbecoming of the somebody that other people tried to create. This is the beauty of living this spiritual life. I believe that. I believe that this is not just about tricking our psyche, but it's about taking charge of our entire life and determining the cycles of our life. And this is where we get to live. So I go back to a thing that I shared with you in the beginning. Don't serve the moment as a servant to the moment. Let the moment serve you. Believe that life is attempting to support you, that we live in a beneficent, a benevolent, giving, generous universe that is waiting to, asking to, in fact, in many cases, begging you to allow it to serve you. Abundance is my nature is wonderful to say. It's even better to live. And this generous universe, this generous God, Father, Mother, God, always wanting to give its good gifts. Jesus said it this way: if you who have the propensity to be evil are able to give good gifts to your children, how much more do you think your Father in heaven wants to give unto you? Life, and life more abundant. Jesus said, I have come that you might have life and have it more abundant. John Scott, I have come that you might have life and have that life more abundant. Stop serving the moments of your life and let the moments of your life serve you. Stop serving money and let money serve you. Stop serving relationships and let relationships serve you. With a constant state of generosity. And when I say that, I don't mean that you take, but you're constantly knowing that the energy, the vibrational frequency of money is trying to locate you. The vibrational frequency of great relationships is trying to locate you. Make yourself available to that energy, and that energy will start flowing to you, through you, for you, and as you in the world. It's a powerful way to live your life. Show up and be available to all of the goodness and the beauty of this life. Be available to love. Be available to prosperity. Be available to abundance. Be available to health. Be available to happiness and to joy and to peace. Don't serve the moment. Let the moment serve you. So in a recap, there are 3 dimensions or 3 layers, if you want to call them layers or dimensions, either one, to any given moment of experience. Direct experience, the sights and the sounds and the sensations. The awareness of the experience, I'm aware it happened, and most importantly, the story that I tell myself about the experience. People will say, that's semantics. And again, you know what I say about that. That is the system that can work for you. This life is generous. This love is generous. The divine presence is generous, giving, loving, wants to support you and meet all of your needs according to its riches and glory. Will you allow that to happen? By recognizing these layers and these dimensions of every moment and taking charge of your life, being mindful of the story that you're going to write about the experience that you had. So there's that direct experience, the sensations, what was recorded, and the subconscious will record it. 40 million bits of information per second. My awareness of what happened, and most importantly, the story I tell about what happened. Hopefully this is helpful to you this evening, and hopefully these midweek connections are helpful to you. If they are, consider sharing this with someone else. Click that share button and send this link to somebody else. Make sure that you hit the heart button or the like button. Participate. When you participate, it helps the algorithms of social media. And if you believe that this message is valuable, I'm going to ask you, getting into the money portion, consider giving an offering today. Support this kind of message. It's amazing to me, and I'm just going to get on a little bit of a soapbox here. It's amazing to me how many ministries are out there that are making people feel guilty, preaching down to people and being dogmatic and being fundamentalist and extremist, and have thousands upon thousands and millions of dollars coming into their coffers. But so many times messages like this that are really, in my opinion, high-level messages. And what I mean by that is that this is asking us to really visit how to live real life in a more peaceful and loving way, and often not support it. I don't believe that about this movement. I believe this movement is going to show forth the difference in that. That this kind of a message and this kind of a movement is being supported financially in miraculous and powerful ways. And I want to say to you, those of you who do support, who are sustaining partners to One Love, sustaining partners to First Unity Spiritual Campus, to this entire movement, thank you. Thank you for being a part of it. We are embarking on some really big vision over this next several months and years. And I know it's going to be supported. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt. We're not going anywhere except for on up, higher and higher, calling forth more and more truth, expanding our consciousness even more than ever before. Okay, folks, I hear the music getting started, so I'm going to get up out of here now. Thank you for joining Midweek Connection. Go and make it a great evening and a great rest of the week. I'll see you in the morning for meditation. Peace.